This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum, and guess who this is?
This is Emily Frankel, John's wife.
That's right.
I have an interesting discussion, John.
Okay, I'm ready to discuss whatever you have in mind.
John recently, not so recently, but a little while ago, did a benefit for Shakespeare in the Park.
The 50th anniversary?
And everybody who was anybody was playing a part in Romeo and Juliet. Meryl Streep was playing Juliet,
Right.
and Kevin Kline was playing Romeo. And they had 2 rehearsals, right?
We had actually 3 rehearsals.
Well, everyone was nervous in a similar way, which surprised me. And I kept on saying, well, how is so-and-so? Well, how did so-and-so? I asked how they looked.
Uh-huh.
And first of all, the first thing I asked you was, how was Kevin Kline?
Right.
How did he look?
I thought he looked very well. I must admit, I didn't recognize him because he had totally gray hair, silver hair, and slightly curly.
Was it curly before?
You didn't notice it before, but I did this day. And when he came up and talked to me, I wasn't quite sure. And then, but everybody I saw there, I knew when Kevin and I won Tonys in the same production on Broadway years before, and he was very young, and I was pretty young myself.
On the 20th century.
That's right.
But person after person you bumped into.
They were all young people when I knew them and worked with them.
Well, talk a little bit about some of the others. Like you mentioned, Jerry Stillers had a tiny, tiny, tiny little part.
Yes, and he stole the show when he came.
What did he do? Just came in and just went right out?
He just had a little part where he came in and asked Romeo where to read something for him, and Romeo kidded him around, and he started to walk off, and Romeo called him back and said, "Hey, wait a minute, I can read." And so he read this invitation
to the party.
And that was the party where Romeo meets Juliet. They crashed the party.
And then Christopher Walken. Now, you have known Christopher for years.
Yes, and we were.
And what was interesting to me was all of them, all these people, one by one, were nervous about being as good as they were before, or something. Maybe looking old, maybe fading fame, maybe concerned that what they were doing right now was not as significant or as important as they were in the prime of their prime.
Well, I'm not going to be able to say it any better than you just did. That's pretty much what we all were. But look, Emily, I mean,
talk about F. Murray Abraham.
Well, F. Murray and I had a discussion about not just fading fame, but fading period. You know, he wanted to know if I was worried about
dying.
That's right. That's what it was.
Did he use the word die?
No, we didn't. Neither of us did. And I said, well, you know, I'll tell you a funny thing. Last week, I bought this economy size of a shampoo. And it was such a huge shampoo.
I don't want to hear this.
And I looked at it and
you didn't want to buy a big shampoo because you might not be around to use the whole shampoo.
That's exactly what it was.
Oh.
But I talked to my doctor about that. I went to see him the day before yesterday, and I told him that story. He said, "I think you'll outlast that shampoo, John."
I want you to say something that.
But let me tell you something that you've always said to me. You know. You haven't necessarily said it, but you always want me to be the young leading man that I was on Broadway.
But you are to me.
Well, I know, but
and
I'm
you
not
could
to other
still
people.
do a leading role, but nobody calls you up and asks you to come and play the lead in a romantic lead in a musical.
Well, I don't tell you about them because I don't want to make you jealous.
Oh, okay. Now, okay, so F. Murray Abraham clearly conveyed to you that he was concerned about where he was heading career-wise.
Yes. Well, he didn't talk too much about it. Nobody said that specifically, but
they were elusive
you could all
words.
tell that we felt a little out of place. Now,
Any women?
Kevin and Meryl probably didn't feel that way at all because they were playing roles that they would love to have played.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
How did they sing?
They were quite good. You didn't after they did the first scene. You didn't even think in terms of the fact that Juliet was supposed to be 14 years old.
Now, what about any women? Did you bump into any women that you knew that you worked with?
No, Christine.
Baranski.
Yes, she was
We know Christine
wonderful.
and she's a wonderful actress.
Yeah, I had no idea that
And
she.
not young anymore. Not young.
Well, I didn't say that, and
Well,
she looks
but
young to
I'm
me.
mean and you're sweet.
Yeah, well, she looked young to me, but she
Oh,
looked
come
very
on.
talented, very talented.
Okay, so what about Fading Flame? Let's just close this subject.
Well, I have a lot of things to say about it. You know, as a member of the Players Club, I would sometimes look at those pictures down in the main room. They have these beautiful pictures of very famous people, and you know who all they are. And then as you walk up the stairs, you begin to think, well, I don't quite remember who that guy is. By the time you get to the third floor, you don't know who the hell these guys are. There's no all the women. They're totally they don't have any place in my mind at all.
Well, anyway, all I wanted to do is open the topic of this interesting benefit that you did, and the topic of feeling like you're fading. And I'm thinking, buy the big bottles of shampoo. That's my advice. Buy giant size shampoos.
Yes, and don't feel that you're too old to do any role.
Okay.
All right. I'm very happy to talk to you. And we'll see you again next week. This is AI.R. See you next week.